The prehistory of Iran could be divided to Paleolithic, Epipaleolithic, Neolithic and Chalcolithic periods as follow. Paleolithic. One of the potential routes for early human migrations towards southern and eastern Asia is Iran, a country characterized by a wide range of geographic variation and resources, which could support early groups of hominins who wandered into the region. Evidence for the presence of these early populations in Iran includes sawn stone artifacts discovered from gravel deposits along the Kashafrud River basin in eastern Iran, the Mashkid and Ladais rivers in the southeast, the Sofadrud River in the north, the Mahabad River in the northwest, and some surface occurrences and isolated finds from the western northwestern parts of the country. The main known early human occupation sites in Iran are Kashafrud in Khorasan, Mashkid and Ladais in Sistan, Shirwatu in Kurdistan, Ganjpar in Gilan, Darband Cave in Gilan, Karlasay in Zanjan, Gakia, disambiguation needed, in Kermanshah, Palbarik in Ilam. These sites fall between 1 million years ago to 200,000 years ago. Mousterian stone tools made by Neanderthal man have also been found in various parts of the country. There are more cultural remains of Neanderthal man dating back to the Middle Paleolithic period, which mainly have been found in the Zagros region and fewer in central Iran at sites such as Kober, Kunji, Bisetun, Kalebozi, Tamtama, Warwazi. In 1949 a Neanderthal radius was discovered by C.S. Kuhn in Bisitun Cave. Evidence for Upper Paleolithic and Epipaleolithic periods are known mainly from the Zagros region in the caves of Kermanshah and Khorramabad, such as Yafta Cave, and a few number of sites in the Alborz range in central Iran. Epipaleolithic. The end of the Paleolithic, called Epipaleolithic, is in a period of about 7,000 years from c. 18,000 to 11,000 BC. In those days groups of hunter-gatherers were mostly living in the caves of the Zagros Mountains. Compared to earlier groups of game hunters, a tendency towards increasing the number of the kinds of plants and animals which were collected and hunted can be observed. Not only smaller vertebrates were hunted but also pistachios and wild fruit were collected. Finally, consuming snails and smaller aquatic animals like crabs is new. Neolithic. Almost nothing is known about the 2,500 years which followed the Upper Paleolithic after 11,000 BC. Only when discovering the place of Asiab in the Kermanshah area we are in better known periods. Asiab was a small camp of hunter-gatherers, only seasonally inhabited. Besides the fact that wild goats and sheep were hunted, great numbers of snail shells were found. These finds were interpreted in the way that from time to time the hunting activities of the inhabitants of Asiab were unsuccessful and that then they were forced to consume food which they usually did not like. Some nearby and more constantly occupied settlements in the Zagros date from a short time after Asiab, from the time between 8000 and 6800 BCE. Still, the material culture of Tapa Ganjara and Tapa Abdul Hosen does not include any pottery. Thus this period is often called a Ceramite Neolithic. This is also true for the oldest levels of Tapa Guran, located in Luristan, as well as for the sites of Ali Kosh and Choasafade in the plain of Deluran, west of the Zagros Mountains. There, flocks of sheep and herds of goats were kept for the first time. Managing animals meant a fundamentally new orientation of the Neolithic inhabitants of Iran and must be understood to be connected with a whole number of other innovations, particularly the architecture of houses. We do not definitely know if in those days there was any cultivation of cereals. Tools for harvesting and for making cereal products are there, but remnants of burned grain are extremely rare. In the 8th millennium BC, agricultural communities such as Choabonut started to form in western Iran, either as a result of indigenous development or of outside influences. Around about the same time, the earliest known clay vessels and modeled human and animal terracotta figurines were produced at Ganjara and Tep Sarab. Also in western Iran, the southwestern part of Iran was part of the Fertile Crescent. Some of the oldest agricultural ground has been discovered in USA, and settlements such as Choamish, dating back to 6800 BC, there are 7,000-year-old jars of wine excavated in the Zagros Mountains and ruins of 7,000-year-old settlements such as Sialka, further testament to that. Chalcolithic. Iranian Chalcolithic could be divided into three parts. Early Chalcolithic refer to occupations falling into the 5th millennium BC. Middle Chalcolithic includes three successive phases dated to the 4th millennium BCE. Late Chalcolithic indicates pre-Bronze Age occupations, dating to the first half of the 3rd millennium BCE.